You're watching Good Evening San Diego.
Could the use of police K-9s be canceled in California? A state lawmaker is pushing a bill to ban police dogs, saying that they unfairly target minorities. But police say race has nothing to do with it. KUSI's Rafer Weigel joins us now, and he's got a special report. Rafer?
So, Logan, this bill was co-authored by the ACLU. I spent a day with the Chula Vista K-9 unit to find out if the animals are unfairly used against people of color or if that's just a red herring.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
The Chula Vista K-9 unit is second to none when it comes to taking a bite out of crime. The unit has been catching criminals since it started in 1977.
The K-9 unit is so important. We are able to use our K-9s for so many different things.
But now they need to overcome obstacles of perception. Assemblymember Corey Jackson from Riverside has introduced a bill that would abolish the dogs from anything but drug and bomb sniffing.
This bill seeks to end a deeply racialized, traumatic, and harmful practice by prohibiting the use of police K-9s for arrest, apprehension, and crowd control.
Jackson believes the injuries caused by K-9s are a reason to muzzle them.
In 2020 and 2021, police K-9s seriously injured 186 people in California alone.
Chula Vista PD does not deploy K-9s for crowd control, and while they'll admit a dog's bite is worse than its bark, it's still better than a bullet.
Nobody wants to get bitten by a dog. I personally have been bitten by dogs more than once, so I know how it feels. But the difference between being bitten by a dog and being shot with a bullet, I mean, that's night and day.
Adding many times when a suspect sees a four-legged pursuer, they give up the pursuit of trying to flee.
We use them to protect the community from violent people, but also it is to be able to apprehend that suspect in the quickest and safest manner possible without having to escalate to deadly force.
And that might save the suspect's life.
We send the dogs to apprehend people who are potentially armed, who have already shown a propensity for violence. That a lot of times in that situation, if they are being aggressive towards us, we may have to resort to deadly force.
Sergeants Joel Monreal and Jessica Severance even gave an example.
A few years ago, there was a wanted person who he was wanted for a serious offense. He had injured some people. He was running from the police. There were detectives. There were multiple officers chasing this guy, and they weren't able to catch him. The K-9 handler arrived on scene, gave the guy commands, and he still continued running.
The K-9 handler and his dog find the bad guy. Dog was deployed. When the bad guy noticed that it was a real thing, he stopped, gave up, heads up in the air. The handler stopped the dog, recalled the dog, and there was no use of force.
Assemblyman Jackson contends the dogs are used more on people of color than whites. The sergeants say that doesn't hold up because the dogs are literally colorblind.
And that is completely false. That is untrue, and obviously we train our dogs to catch bad guys, to keep officers and the community safe.
We use them in order to apprehend violent, dangerous criminals who are trying to get away, trying to fight. It has nothing to do with the person's race or their background or anything like that.
All right, let's see how we do here. I wanted to experience a K-9 takedown firsthand, so I suited up and took on Titan, a 4-year veteran. I got a gun. I got a gun. Oh, no, this is not good. It was easy to see how Titan would stop a suspect in its tracks. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to not give when that happens. Good job, Titan. The dogs are highly trained and treated like professional athletes and work like dogs at their jobs.
I mean, these aren't just any dogs. These are highly trained, specialized K-9s that have been tested and continue to go through training throughout their entire span on the department.
They have to go to an academy. Academy is somewhere between 240 hours, sometimes a little bit more, depending on the progress of the team. But after that, we're still required to do 16 hours per month.
And the bond a handler has with their animal, they truly become man's best friend.
You know, you spend more time with your dog than anybody else in your family or any other police officer, plus all the training you do, all the little aspects of police dogs and police work.
And the sergeants hope with more education, lawmakers like Jackson won't keep a good dog down from keeping their communities safer. Now, my request for an interview with Assemblymember Jackson was denied. The bill has been presented. It will go to a committee hearing after March 16th, and then if it goes through that, Logan, they will vote on it, and this could become the law.
So what did that feel like, having the dog bite you? I know you had that big, puffy, protective suit on.
Yeah, it didn't hurt, but you could feel the pressure, and yes, it would have definitely done some damage to my arm, but far better than being shot in the arm. And once you feel that pressure, you're not going to keep fighting. You're absolutely going to comply with the animal, and that's their point.
And sometimes you've seen the video where they say, give up or I'm going to release the dog, and then just the threat of it does it. I know that some others have said, well, you know, if you get pepper sprayed or you get tasered, you know, you recover from it, but if a dog bites you, that's a long recovery. But I also know that police will kind of send them further away, right? I mean, if the person is really far from the police, and that gives them a great tool.
And that's a good point, Logan. Tasers and batons are close-quartered tools that you use. Only a dog and a bullet can take down a suspect from long range.
Rafer Weigel, well, we're glad you're okay. And Titan didn't get the best of you. Thanks, Rafer.